You've done it. You've been working for months, and finally you secured that public presentation, that speech. You're getting ready to give it, but you're a little bit nervous. What are some tips that you can use to improve upon your nervousness and perform better? Let's discuss. Hi, welcome to Hyper Academy. My name is Ryan Fields-Spack. It's a ruthless world out there. How do you step up and stand out? You do it by getting your mind right. That's what Hyper Academy is here to explore. Thank you for joining me today. Have you been working to secure your opportunity to present your big idea in front of a large group of people? You've been pitching it, you've been building your presentation, you've been writing your speech. Everything is in place and you finally nailed it. You're ready to go. Now what do? How do you prepare for the most important part of this entire process, giving the actual presentation? Are you nervous? Are you stressed out? There's a lot of things that can be welling up inside you when you're getting ready for this big moment. There's opportunities and there's tips and techniques to improve upon your ability to perform, lower that anxiety level, and improve on that presentation. We're going to talk a lot about that here in this next episode today. Before we do, though, I want to give you a gift that's going to go right along with what we're talking about. Those nervous feelings inside your body that are welling up, you can feel your pulse rate getting faster, you can feel your respiratory rate, blood pressure, eyes widening out. Those are all nervous signs that are brought about by chemicals, adrenaline that's being released in your body. There's a way to reduce that adrenaline, reduce that blood pressure, reduce your pulse, and perform better by just doing a simple technique. It's called First Just Breathe. It's brought about by Anne-Marie Rossi. She's a fantastic practitioner in this space. And we have this thing drafted out for you in a one-page form. Very quick read. You can get the steps of how to reduce your anxiety, your pulse, and your respiratory rate and focus on the task at hand in a much more calm, confident manner by getting this guide to reducing that stress. Again, it's a 3-step process. It takes 10 seconds to do once you've read this document, and it's my gift to you for free as a thank you for joining me today. Go to hyperacademy.mykajabi.com/10 seconds. hyperacademy.mykajabi.com/10 seconds. You can get your guide right there and we'll send that over to you. Thank you again, but let's get into it. What are the challenges that you face when you're getting ready to present? There's a lot that goes into it. You've gotten to the day before the presentation, right? Everything's ready to go. You're ready to present. But here comes the day of. What are some of the things you're going to do to improve upon your ability to perform and reduce some of those butterflies that, at least for me, are always present the day of an actual presentation? So we're going to talk a number of different things. We're going to talk about 5 different ways that you can improve upon that, and then we'll go all the way up until 30 seconds before you get ready to talk, right? So the first thing that you want to do is make sure that your content is ready and that you've rehearsed your content. That's going to be one of the most important parts, right? So you have a presentation that you're giving with a slide deck, or maybe you're just giving a speech and you've got something completely written out, or maybe just bullet points that you're going to be speaking to at a lectern. Those are some of the definite things that you want to be prepared for. So as you're leading up to the day of the event, make sure you know that content really well. There's no substitute for that. And winging it is usually not the best option. Having that content in place, having it reviewed and practicing it out, that will make you much more comfortable for when some of those agitations and those external stimuli that make you more nervous inevitably come about, right? So know that content, review that content. Now, the day of, you wake up, you know it's your day to speak, and you're already a little bit nervous. That's how I usually am. The first thing that I do in order to center myself and make sure that I'm ready to go and ready to notice when stimuli pull me away and stay focused on the task at hand is I meditate. Meditation is one of those things that sometimes it can get a bad rap, or maybe people think that it's way too difficult to do or takes way too much time. I'm here to tell you that meditation is neither of those. Meditation is a very simple process. We'll talk through it right now, and it can take a very short amount of time. So meditation, in its essence, is sitting in a comfortable place where it's quiet, where you won't be either talked to or distracted, and sitting comfortable and set an alarm on your phone. preferably with a bell at the end of the alarm that will not jar you into reality, but will just kind of calmly bring you out of it. Set an alarm in this day for this time when I'm presenting for this very important presentation. I'm going to set my timer for 15, and if I can pull it off, 20 minutes. That's a little bit more time than I would recommend on just a daily basis. You can even do it as short as 2 minutes. But this is where you really need to put your mind into overdrive to be able to prepare for this. So sit down, nice comfortable spot, set that timer for 15, maybe 20 minutes on your phone. Close your eyes and then focus on your breath. Focus on your in-breath. Focus on your out-breath. In, out. Focus on the air going through your nose, down into your lungs. Notice how it fills your lungs, and then the reverse as it goes back out. As you start to do this, even within 30 seconds, your mind's going to start to wander. It's going to go over here. It's going to think about, gosh, I need to remember this for this part of the presentation. Or, gosh, I need to call my boss back about this. Or my kids need to have this. Or I need to go shopping, right? Your mind is wired to wander. It's going to go all over the place. But if you can focus on the fact that your mind just wandered, and bring it back to the present moment of what you're doing, which is an in-breath and an out-breath. And then your mind wanders back, you notice it, and bring it back, in-breath, out-breath. That is meditation. It is training your mind to acknowledge when your mind wanders. Don't feel bad about it. Don't hurt yourself about it. Come back to the present moment. Each time you do that, and come back to the present moment, you're getting the muscle in your brain trained to notice when it's wandering away, which will allow you for the rest of the day and during your speech to stay focused on what you're doing and on your task at hand. Meditation is absolutely fantastic, and for every minute you meditate, per Chris Bailey, which is a great book, which I'll put in the notes below, you can gain back an additional 9 minutes of productivity. So think about that. If you meditate for 15, 20 minutes, you're going to get yourself up to 180 minutes worth of time back to be able to perform better during that. So set that time early in the morning, give yourself 15 to 20 minutes of meditation. That will improve upon your ability to perform. Now, as you're going ready through the day, let's say you're about an hour out, here's where you want to start getting yourself a little bit more prepared and moving forward, right? So what I love to do, and Amy Cuddy does this quite a bit. She's got a book called Presence. It's an absolutely fantastic book, and what she talks about is when you stand with a positive alpha presence, your body will reciprocate the way that it is standing via the way that it feels, and you will act more confidently, you will present more poised, and you will have a much better cadence in the way that you talk. If you look at animals, say a very alpha male dog, right? Shoulders high, ears perked up, tails up. That dog is happy, that dog is excited. Versus a submissive dog whose ears are back, tails below its legs, is protecting itself. Those two animals will act in the way that their bodies are presenting outwardly by the very nature of the fact that their body and their brains and their minds will take note of that and then project that outward, right? You can do the same thing. So if you stand for an hour beforehand while you're doing some things in a superhero pose, chest out, chin up, big superhero, you're going to project that confidence outwardly when you're giving that presentation. So do some superhero poses. Don't be afraid. Go into a bathroom if you're in a public place, stand in the stall and do that superhero pose. It's absolutely fantastic. While you're doing that for that hour beforehand, I would pull up and review your content one more time. You already know it, but now you're just kind of getting your mind back into the flow of where it's going to be. And then you can also prep what I like to call the first 60-second blur of any presentation. If you've done a presentation or a speech before, it can feel like the time between you're introduced, you walk up, and you begin speaking is a pretty significant blur. You're just trying to make sure that you're not tripping. You're trying to make sure that your presentation is working correctly and that you're setting yourself off on the right foot. So what I like to try to do is take about the first 60 seconds and really rehearse in my mind exactly what I'm going to say, how I'm going to set the stage for the discussion, how I'm going to present the ideas, quick introduction of myself, and then you can get moving on. If you give yourself 60 seconds worth of time that's built in, it will allow your brain to catch up and get yourself in that poise and the confidence into a better place, right? We'll talk about also what you do during that first 60 seconds to lower your pulse and blood pressure as well. So that's the first hour before your presentation. Now let's move up, 15 minutes out, right? With 15 minutes out, this is really where you just want to get some logistics out of the way. Get up on stage if you can, get on your computer if you're doing something remotely, do that technical check. The worst thing that you can have is for the sound to not work, your presentation to not load. Any of those technical issues can completely take your mind, talk about getting hijacked and wandering. That will absolutely take you out of the flow, the poise, and the confidence that you have built up over the past 3, 4, 5 hours by having something technical go wrong. So get yourself set up, set yourself up for success from a technical perspective. 15 minutes beforehand, you'll be good to go. 5 minutes out. Now time's really getting fast. This is when you're ready to present. And this is where you really want to bring your anxiety level down as far as you possibly can. So you can do that by doing a couple of different things. One, I'm going to stay in that power pose no matter what. If I'm in public, I'm just going to stand while I'm talking to people in a power pose. It looks a little funny, but at the same time, hey, maybe it's just one of those things where, people will just appreciate the fact that you're standing like this, right? At the same time, maybe you're getting ready to go on. You can pretend like you're looking at something on the wall, some art on the wall, standing in that power pose. That 5 minutes, that will increase your projection and your power and your presence directly by standing in that power pose. While you do that, a good opportunity is to take a minute and then just take nice in breaths and out breaths. Do 10, 12 nice, slow, deep breaths. That will take about a minute's time, and you will have brought all of your anxiety down to a more manageable level, right? So this is absolutely something that you can do. Do that power pose. Do that 2 minutes worth of breathing, and then 2 minutes out, you're getting ready to go on there. That's where you can do some of the first just breathe techniques that are in that free guide that you can download. If you do those techniques, again, you're just trying to keep your anxiety level from going like this. Instead, if you're doing your breathing, your power posing, your first just breathe mindfulness techniques, instead of going like this, you're only going to increase slightly, and it'll be much more manageable as you get into the process of your speech. And then from there, 30 seconds out, I'm going to do 1, 2, even 3 more of those first just breathe mindfulness exercises to bring yourself down and ready to present. At that point, you're ready to go. You've already rehearsed your 60-second process once you jump up on stage. Before you get ready to start speaking yourself, first just breathe and then go and knock it out. If you use some of these tips, if you meditate in the morning, do it for 15 to 20 minutes. If you prepare your content and make sure that you're really ready to go with that, if you review your content an hour out, and then you prep for all of those different 60 seconds components of what you're going to say at the first beginning part of that. If you do your technical check and all of that's out of the way, and then if you do some of that power posing just ahead of it, and some mindfulness exercises, you will be setting yourself up for a massive amount of success and knocking that presentation out of the park. I hope this helps. Let me know in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube if this is something that might help you or be beneficial. If you've done it and it's helped you, or if you have additional tips, please leave them down there as well. We've got some great tips and techniques that are coming out every single week on the Hyper Academy channel. If this is something that might benefit you, if you want to perform better, make more money, get promoted, or just be a better human, there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of content in Hyper Academy. Feel free to subscribe. I would absolutely love it. If you like this video in particular, a thumbs up would be very helpful as well. And make sure to get your free guide, hyperacademy.mykajabi.com/10 seconds. And I hope you're having a great day. We'll see you next week. Have a good one. Thank you.